Good morning, this is Elaine with Elaine's Custom Cards, and today we're going to make what's called a floating planes pop-up Mother's Day card. When you open it, the center pops up. You can see that on the things. Well, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and then a little bit lower, and I'm not going to put this on it. And then this is the envelope. And I used the Flowers and More Designer Series paper again. This is a host, you can buy this with host rewards. I'll have all my sizes and dimensions on my blog after the video posts, so you can print the instruction sheet on how to make this. So I took, this is the piece that goes in the center, like that. So we're going to do this piece first, and I fold it in half. You want to make sure it's good and scored, and then this piece is scored. Like I said, all the sizes will be on my blog. So we're going to glue this to there. So let's do that so that it can be drying. Let's open it up. Cut out a new bottle of glue in case this one decides to give me fits. I got this idea when I was watching a video that Ruth from Artful Stampin' with Ruth does on YouTube. If you want me to leave a link, well, I will leave a link to that video for you. And the down arrow, and then the instructions on how to do this are on another video called the Pop-Up Channel, and I'll leave that link in here as well. So that's how I'm going to do this piece. It's going to open like this. I think that should be split down the middle. I'm going to cut that. I think it'll lay flatter if I trim it. Don't like doing this, but yeah, that's going to lay much flatter. I wanted it solid in the middle, but it doesn't look like it's going to work so good. Okay. Flat. When I give the dimensions, I'll give the dimensions for the two pieces. They lay a lot better if they're separate. Okay. Then I stamped Happy Mother's Day, and I got this from the Daffodil Daydream, this Mother's Day stamp right here. And I'm going to glue this to the left or the right side of the card. I like to do this before I do the mechanism, so I want to get this done and so it can dry. And this will give you room to sign your name. I'll put a little note. And then on the other side, I die cut some butterflies out of gold, and I had a piece of gold foil that right here. This piece is 2 3/4 by 2 about 3/8. And I use the Brilliant Wings dies. This comes as 2 sheets of dies, and I didn't like them that way, so my husband cut them. He has sheet metal snips, and so I had him cut them all apart so that I had separate butterflies. And then I cut apart my stamp also, so that the butterflies were separate. It was easier for me to use that way. So anyway, I cut a large one and a small one, and if you don't have these, I use these dies. They're called designer tags dies. I use this one, this outside die, and then for my sentiment on the front I use this die. There is a butterfly in here if you don't have these other butterflies. So I'm going to take the small butterfly and I'm going to put a glue dot on the back. The glue dot's a little bit big, so if you take your pick tool, or if you have one of these pokey tools, and fold that glue dot in half, it should fit in the middle of that butterfly, in theory. They're very sticky. Okay, and then I just put it over here at an angle, and then I lifted the wings like so. Okay, so we'll set that aside until we're ready to do the inside of the card. So here's the rest of my pieces. If you're wondering where I got this stamp set, or that sentiment, I bought the March paper pumpkin, and it has several really nice sentiments on it. It's to a wonderful mother, to an incredible woman, here's to another year of growth, sending all our love, and different sentiments. That's where I got that sentiment. It's from the March paper pumpkin. So I'm going to set that aside. I stamped these in Starry Sky. So let's put this together. So the inside is going to be this striped paper, and it's the Flowers and More Designer Series paper. You can use either side. I just like the Starry Sky side. I think I'm going to have to use my other glue. I don't want to fight that one. Oh, that's better. Come on down. There we go. I'm not really into fighting the glue bottle today. So we'll put this on the left side. This is 4 by 5 1/4, in case you were wondering. Both sides are the same. I think I'm going to try some more pop-up cards. They're actually pretty easy to make. And this one you can make any size. The one I made for this particular card, the mechanism, I made it a little bit bigger so that it would pop up a little higher than this one. Plus I made the pop-up mechanism smaller, and the card itself, the centerpiece, is bigger. Okay, there's that. Okay, the next thing I did, I cut a piece of Tahitian Tide. This is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I used these dies, the rectangle stitch framelits, and I used the 3rd and 4th from the largest. So I used the 3rd from the largest for this and cut the center out of this. And then I glued this to the front of my card. This is just kind of a interesting layered look that I like. So center this. Plus it conserves on your cardstock. Now I could have just put this underneath there and have it framed, but I took the fourth from the largest and cut out at the center of this piece of Designer Series paper. And this piece of paper is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to just glue that right on top of there. Just like so. Okay. Center that. Okay. I'm going to take this piece, it's in here. You can see here what I did. So I take this. And this one. This particular pattern is directional, so you want to make sure you don't put it upside down. Okay, now I'm going to glue this to the center of this. Just like so. Okay. Now, at this point, you can either glue this here, or you can use dimensionals. I decided to use dimensionals because I think I'm going to decorate it first and then put dimensionals on the back of it. So I stamped To an Incredible Woman, and like I said, this came from a paper pumpkin. And I'm going to put some of this ribbon through here. I cut 4 pieces that are about 6 inches long. You can do it shorter if you want. Folded them in half. Put them through this top hole. It was a tight fit, but I got them in there. Pull those through and get your loop. Make sure you got all of them, which I'm missing one. There it is. Hiding. Pull that up. Okay. Once you get your loop open, you're going to take the end and put them through like that. And pull. And then I trimmed it because it was too long. So you trim it whatever length you want. It was just easier to work with longer. So I trimmed those. Okay. And then I laid this down. Let me kind of separate those a little bit. Like so. Then I have a large butterfly. And here's my mechanism for the inside when we get ready to do that. I have a couple of flowers and some leaves. I cut these flowers out of Sentimental Park dies. I used this one and this one. And I used a punch, this punch here, to punch out the leaves. This is crushed curry. This is shaded spruce. Okay. And this is this Starry Sky ribbon. Okay. So I want to decorate this. I don't know whether I want my leaf like this. I think I want it like this. So put a leaf on here, and I want it right about there. So let's glue that. Oops, let's use this glue. And I could put glue along the stem. I don't know if you can see that. You don't need very much. A little bit on that leaf, and that leaf. Okay? And you're just going to lay that just like this. So it can hang over a little bit onto the Tahitian tied cardstock if you want. And then I went ahead and glued this down. So that the stem was underneath, just like this. Make sure it's straight. Well, it moved. And make sure there's no glue on the other side. So you just make sure it's where you want it and straight before the glue dries. Okay? And then I took my flowers, curled them a little bit with this tool, this pokey tool thing, I don't know what it's called. And you can use your take your pick tool because it has a pokey tool end. I just kind of curled one. You can use your fingernails if you have any. Mine are pretty short. Okay, then I put glue dots. One on here. Put that right there. And then one on the back of this one. Put it kind of tucked under right there. And then I took these are the gold faceted adhesive gems or sequins. I used the small ones. Put a small one in the center of there. And a small one in the center of there. Okay. And then I think I'll put this on last. Okay. Let's go ahead and glue this, or put dimensionals on the back of this. Kind of buried here. Okay. Now, I didn't want this to sag, so I put one in each corner. One here, one here, and one here, one here. Okay? The last thing we're going to do is our pop-up in the center because it requires a little bit more work, and I wanted the front to be done so I don't have to worry about smashing something. So I'm going to center that right over this hole. And you'll never know that the hole was there. Okay. We're going to put this on last. Okay, now let's do the pop-up part. Here's our pieces. These are identical. I made them 1 inch wide and 2 1/4 inches long. Scored or folded them in half and then put a little score line. That's about, I don't know, a little bit more than 1/4 inch. And they're all identical. So the first one, I'm going to put glue here. Okay. I'm going to spread that so it's over the whole thing. And then you're going to kind of find the center of your card and put that right in the center of your card. Okay? Right, as close to that fold line as you can get without going over it. Then you're going to put glue on the other side. Same thing, you're going to want to spread it around. And then you're going to lay it down like so. Fold your card over. And there's the first part of your mechanism, okay? Okay, then you're going to take this one, put glue on here. Make sure you spread it around. Put it level with this, right here, okay? Just like that. I'll put glue over here. Make sure it's over the whole thing. And you're going to fold that down like that. Close your card. So then you, oops, try that. Put a little bit more glue on there maybe. You want it to stick. Very important that that sticks. Okay, here's that piece. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. Glue on here. Oh, that looks crooked. Okay. And put this right here. Hold it there. Do you want this level? Because this is where the pop-up goes. Okay, then you're going to put glue on this tab. Fold it down and fold it over. It does stick, trust me. Okay. Once you got that on there, this is what you end up with. And you're going to take your card, you're going to put glue on here. You put plenty on there because you want your inside thing to come off. So put the glue on there. I just watched Ruth do this yesterday, so you're going to take your card and you're going to put it in the center and then close. And you want to make sure that you're straight, even, like so. Now I made this one so when it pops up, it's a little bit closer to the card, but not a whole lot. That looks pretty even, I would say. Okay, so that's the inside of your card. This might be a little bit difficult to sign your name, but you can do it. Put something underneath to sign your name on there. Okay, the last thing is my other butterfly, and we're going to put a glue dot. Well, this is not the last thing. Next to the last thing. We still got to put some bling. I think this glue dot will fit on the back of this without too much trouble here. Glue dot on the back of your butterfly. Fold his wings up and then just put it where you want without covering up your words. So I'm going to put him right there. So he's kind of over the flowers. Oops. You can see that. And doesn't cover up my words. Okay, the last thing is some extra bling. Now I'm using some retired in color from 21-23. I'm trying to use stuff up. Sometimes I wonder how I end up with so much stuff. So let's use these yellow ones and get these used up. Let's put one down here and put a big one right here, and I have another big one right here. Okay, that's that. You can see I have quite a few of those left. Now we want to make sure and decorate our envelope. So I have a piece of designer series paper for the envelope flap like this. Make sure you're right side up. You don't want your flowers upside down. So I put glue on the flap. Now you don't have to do this. You can stamp something. If you have a stamp set that you like, and stamp in the colors that's in the paper, that are in the paper. But anyway, so you're going to line this up even with the top and both ends, just like so. This is 5 3/4 by 2 1/4. That's the size of piece of paper that you're going to need to do this. Put that on there, press it down, take your scissors and just cut around it like this. Okay, that's my card for today. You have to let me know what you think. Whether you like it like this, with a little tag down here to write on, or like this, where you've got to put something underneath there so you can sign your name. You could use a couple of, nope, that's too much. Maybe just one of these. Kinda, and sign, or sign it before you stick the tag on. That works too. Or you can put a tag down here like I did on this one. So anyway, that's your card for today. The Floating Plains pop-up card with envelope for Mother's Day. My mother has been gone for several years, so I like to give these to my daughter who's a mother, and my daughter-in-law who's a mother, and my couple of granddaughters who are mothers, just because. So I hope you have a blessed day. I'll put the links to the Artful Stampin' with Ruth and the pop-up channel so that you can find examples of these pop-ups. Please like and subscribe, share my video. I hope you have a blessed day. You can find these products on my online store. There's a down arrow you can push that'll take you either to my blog, where there's a link to my online store, or there's a direct link to my online store in the video, in the thing below the video, in the down arrow. And I will have the instructions for these on my blog after the video posts. You have a blessed day and have fun stamping.